Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of the Triple Threat Show. As always, I'm your host, Merritt Fatemi, on a beautiful Tuesday afternoon. Sorry I haven't been here for the last couple days. Just wanted to hop back on here. Got some college football stuff to tackle. Got some NFL stuff to tackle. Have some stuff in the NBA. The NBA is finally starting to grow a little bit and get some traction for this year's NBA, this current NBA season. We have a lot to talk about. But first, before I jump any further, be sure to drop a subscription on the Triple Threat Show here. If you get your content on any of our platforms on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, you can find us there at the Triple Threat Show. On my TikTok at Boss of Sports Takes, at the underscore Triple Threat Show, at 3 Threat Show on Instagram. Anywhere and anywhere you can get your social media or content podcast, anywhere, anything, you can find us there. We're everywhere, all over the internet. But let's jump right into it. I'm gonna be fully honest. I'm not feeling the greatest today, so I'm gonna try and get through this. We're gonna work through it step by step, game by game, sport by sport. Let's jump straight into it. Going over college football first. I was right about everything except one thing. Ole Miss worked Tulane. Absolutely worked Tulane. They had no chance. I was completely right on that. Oregon took down JMU, even though I thought JMU had a chance, even though JMU showed up in the second half and put up 28 points in the second half. You can't overcome a 28-3 lead or 28-3 deficit at the end of the first half, or I think it was maybe 31-3. Regardless, this isn't Tom Brady sitting over there on James Madison. This is a Duke's offense that shows up, picks and chooses when they want to show up. They've had some bad games. They had that bad game against Washington State, even though they ended up winning that game. Oregon's a different monster. In Oregon, you weren't going to beat that team. It is what it is, and that's what it was. But I was wrong about one game. I came on here and I said if there was one lock I could give you for this college football playoff for Saturday in the first round, it was that Texas A&M was going to go out and beat the brakes off of Miami. I said a good defense was going to beat a better offense. Carson Beck wasn't going to have its greatest game. Miami would stay within striking distance into the fourth quarter, but A&M would hit the final blow and call it a game. Well, I did not see a 0-0 game going into the fourth quarter. I did not see 3-0 being in the cards until the last 5 minutes of the game where Miami scored a touchdown. And then inevitably, Texas A&M's offense looking so lackluster the entire game, throwing the game sealing pick with 2 minutes to go, and Miami escaped with that one. Can't say anything about that. Texas A&M losing at home, losing at Texas in the final game of this regular season, and then shows up and loses at home in the first round of the playoffs. There's not a whole lot to say other than what are you supposed to do in that situation? There's really nothing else to say. So, with that, let's go over to the next round of the playoffs. I know it's early. I know it's only Tuesday, and we'll jump over this. I won't fully predict. I won't give my full thoughts. I'll just give a brief outlook on what these games look like. Oregon, Texas, first off, is going to be a phenomenal game. It is going to be smash mouth football. It is going to be another one of those good offense versus good defense situations. Except Texas Tech is loads higher than Texas A&M was. Texas Tech is one of the best defensive teams in the country right now. They deserve all the props in the world. There's a reason they're a top 5 team in the country. They were a top 5 team in the country going into the playoffs. Can they get it done against a really upstart Oregon team in the Orange Bowl? I'm not going to give any predictions, but that is going to be a phenomenal game. Alabama, Indiana. It's going to be good. Don't get me wrong. This is the quarterfinals. All these games are going to be good. But Alabama just squeaking past Oklahoma last week. I know that it ended up being a 10-point finish, but Oklahoma started that game up 17-0. The only reason Alabama climbed back in was because of a blocked punt and a pick six. Not the only reasons, but seriously, it was 17-7 before those two occurrences. I'm going to be fully honest. Fernando Mendoza is not going to make those mistakes. He's not. He's going to show out there, and if Indiana goes up 17-0, they're not going to look back. That defense is too good, is too rock solid. Yeah, they might give up a few points. They might give up a touchdown here, maybe a second touchdown. But that run game controls the game, completely controls the game. It's just going to be if it's going to depend on if Alabama can shut down that Indiana offense. If they can keep the game close and they don't fall behind early on. Alabama's they showed their inconsistencies last week. They've been doing it all year round. If I'm being honest, Ty Simpson has thrown five interceptions in the last 5 games. I think he's thrown 7 touchdowns, 4 interceptions after last week. Before that, it was like 3 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He has not had a great last stretch of the few. Hasn't had a good stretch over the last few weeks. I know he had a good game last week, a good second half specifically, but he needs to show out. He needs to throw for 300 yards. He needs to get that Alabama offense. He needs to be the spark in the offense. It can't be special teams. It can't be defense. Defense needs to be a part of it, but the offense needs to control the game, needs to command how the game goes, how the game plays out. That's all I'm going to say for that one. We'll move forward with that one. We also need the rest of the boys. Where's Jeremy Lapidus? Where's Nolan Jambor? We need the rest of the boys here if we're going to continue to break down these games. Ole Miss, Georgia. I'm going to pick Georgia in this one. Yes, Lane Kiffin is out for Ole Miss right now. And I think that's the defining part of this game. I think Kirby Smart is going to coach circles around that Ole Miss team. I think Georgia's already, even regardless, I think Georgia's just can out-talent them in every faction of the game, in every part of the game. I think they're unbelievable defensively, offensively, and I'm going to say flat out, Georgia's going to bum rush Ole Miss, I think. I think it could be close going to the second half. I could see like a 17-10 game, 10-3 game, maybe 10-7. But I think in the second half, it's going to be all Georgia. They're going to show out and get it done, moving on to the semifinals. And then there's probably going to be game of the week, Miami and Ohio State. I'm not a Michigan fan. I've said it before. I think Ohio State isn't as good as they come out to be. I know Indiana came out and beat them in the last game of the season in the Big Ten championship game. And I know it was still a close game, like 13-10. But I do think Ohio State isn't as good as they come out to be. I think Miami has shown that they can play up to their competition. And I think Carson Beck can show out. But it's going to be about, can they stop Jeremiah Smith? Can they slow down that Ohio State offense just enough to give Miami's offense an opportunity to show out and win the game? I think this game's going to come down to the wire. I think this could be a ping-pong late fourth quarter. I think this is going to be game of the week. Miami, Ohio State. The Cotton Bowl. It's going to be a weird game. If you told me this, I was really expecting A&M to be going up against Ohio State right now. I'm going to give Miami a chance. They shocked me a little bit. I'm pleasantly surprised on how they performed last week. So I'm going to say they're going to have a chance, and we'll give more game picks. We'll have more game picks for you as we move forward later on in the week. But that's just a pretty brief outlook of what this playoff is looking like. It's nothing too crazy. I think there's going to be a lot of games that we're going to look forward to in 2 weeks' time. But for now, I'm going to take a short break. Click on to the next video. I'm going to have it pasted up right up here. Right here. I don't know what I'm doing. Click on to the next video. We'll be right over there for some NFL content. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.